Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Law of One Spiritual Advice Podcast. My name is Elle, and I am here today to read some Law of One and then share with you my reflections on the material. And today is going to be more specifically, I suppose, on symbology, symbolism, but not necessarily that wide-ranging. This is specifically to do with what many people would call the Ankh, or the cross even, because the Ankh and the cross are very similar in a way. I feel that they're sort of iterations of each other. The Ankh and the cross and the chakras and how they're all related to this, and sort of a lot of the symbolism that I've learned either just from reading or honestly just thinking about it. I always have this Ankh necklace that I wear around my neck, and it's got a little green crystal in the middle, which is the Heart Chakra, and I always think about it in many ways, and honestly, the symbolism runs deep. I don't even know if I'll be able to cover everything, and I apologize that this is going to be super scatterbrained because it's just the nature of trying to put this all into some sort of discernible fashion. It really will just be pretty random. So all I've done is I've just written down a whole bunch of different things that I can think about or that have come into my awareness about the symbolism of it and what it means in our life. And I will just sort of run through a bunch of them and share it with you. And I would ask you too, you might have to listen carefully to a couple of things because I'm going to try to give you a picture to envision and do things with. So here we are. Let's go. The quote, which I'm going to read, is from session 93.24 from the Law of One, the raw material. And the questioner asked them about what they call the crux ansata, which to me is the Ankh shape. So if you've never seen the Ankh shape, it's the picture that you're looking at on my YouTube video, and it represents sort of like a cross-looking thing. But basically, it's a cross with a hoop at the top instead of just a straight cross up and down. It also has a hoop at the top. Okay, so crux ansata equals Ankh. All right, here we go. So raw answers, because the question isn't really relevant. The question was just something about what's the Ankh like. So then raw answers, session 93.24. There are mathematical ratios within this image which may yield informative insights to one fond of riddles. We shall not untangle the riddle. We may indicate that the crux ansata is a part of the concept complexes of the archetypical mind. The circle indicating the magic of spirit, the cross indicating that nature of manifestation which may only be valued by the losing. Thus, the crux ansata is intended to be seen as an image of the internal in and through manifestation and beyond manifestation through the sacrifice and transformation of that which is manifest. Woo, alrighty, that's a good one, right? So then I will also add on just another one before I go too much into this. And so this one's from session 92.30. The questioner asks, would this crux ansata then be indicating a sign of life or spirit in living matter, right? So the Ankh. And Ra answers, I am Ra. This is quite correct. Moreover, it illuminates a concept which is a portion of the archetype which has to do with the continuation of consciousness which is being potentiated in incarnation, beyond incarnation. Alrighty. So, where to begin? I suppose I should do a little bit of background work for anyone who's not totally aware, because the main thing I want to connect here, I suppose, is the chakras and the heart chakra, specifically the heart chakra, because you'll find that a lot of this has to do with that heart chakra, which is located at the center of the cross. And let's start. Let's go into that. So, the way I understand this Ankh, or if you even want to see it as the cross, I mean, honestly, it doesn't really matter to me. I just think that a more accurate depiction of the cross is the Ankh. I feel that that's sort of older in a way. All right. So the way I see it is, if you look at the YouTube video there, you'll see the chakras, right? So we have the 7 colors of the rainbow: Roiji Biv, red, orange, yellow, green in the middle, blue, indigo, violet. So you have 7 chakras, and I would consider the bottom 3 chakras to be the bottom of the cross, so the vertical line going up and down, just the very bottom of it. 1, 2, 3. Those are your bottom 3 chakras, okay? Now you hit up to the cross, the intersecting part that goes horizontal, that goes left, right. That is the 4th chakra, the heart chakra, the center, the love. Okay, and then so we had red, orange, yellow, first 3. We have green in the middle, that's the 4th one. Now we have 5, 6, 7, which is the blue, indigo, violet at the top, which is the circle part of the Ankh. So it's the part that's above the horizontal intersection. And you'll see that they have the circle up there. Well, what did Ra just say? Ra said the circle indicating the magic of spirit. So blue, indigo, violet, the magic of spirit. Okay, so we're up at those top 3 chakras now. So let's just differentiate here. Okay, so you've got the bottom part of the cross or the Ankh. Okay, so you have the bottom vertical portion. I would consider that the physical. You could also consider that the masculine. It is sort of the physical illusion, the world that you see with your 5 senses. Okay, so those are that's your bottom 3. But then those are contrasted with the top 3. So what would the top 3 be if the bottom 3 are physical, finite, and masculine? Well, then the top 3 would be metaphysical, infinite, and feminine. And let's sort of break down a little bit of those things for you. So let's just start with the most gross explanation of it. I mean, gross in terms of just being sort of like baseline, right? And this is honestly, like, it's too simple, but you got to look at the cross. Okay, so we have the bottom, which is like a phallic symbol, right? It's just a single vertical line, if you will. And then you have at the top, you have, remember the bottom I was describing as masculine, okay? So it's like a phallic symbol. Now you have the top, which is the circle, which is the feminine aspect of spirit, if you will. And that is a circle, right? So we have what may be looking like female reproductive parts, okay? So now we have the upper and the lower, and when they come together, they create the intersection of life. So they're at the 4th chakra, right? So you sort of, as the spirit and the physical matter come together, they create a wider intersection of life, which is the middle of the cross. So like that's love, right? That's the nature of creation. It's the physical mating with the metaphysical, and thus creating the infinity of everything that we see. The creation that we're experiencing right now is the interaction of those two things, which create this cross or this intersection in space, which is the infinity of the moment. It's the both everything being, physical and metaphysical. It's it's so hard to explain, right? But it's the magic of the two things coming together. Lol. Okay, so we talked about them as masculine and feminine. Now let's go into that they're finite and infinite. Okay, so once again, the bottom 3 chakras, finite. It's a single digit. It's a 1. Okay, you have then you have the top, which is sort of the infinite part of the circle. So you have an infinite circle. Obviously, we're talking about infinity. The circle is representative of pi, 3.14159, etc., gone forever. Anyways, I don't really need to explain it any more than that. That's probably good enough, okay? And then we have the physical and the metaphysical. So that is, I guess, the more accurate description of this Ankh thing is sort of the physical and the metaphysical meeting in the middle, which is the intersection. Ra would say, like, this is spirit and living matter. This is also, as they say, the continuation of consciousness, which is being potentiated in incarnation beyond incarnation. So that is pretty intense. But what I would read out to you is this part again from Ra, which says, the cross is a manifestation valued by the losing. So the Ankh is intended to be seen as an image of the eternal in and through manifestation and beyond manifestation through the sacrifice and transformation of that which is manifest. Okay, so we're talking about how we're transforming that bottom pole, right? The bottom physical, finite portion of the universe, and we're going to transform that through sacrifice and what do they say? Sacrifice and transformation, and it's going to be brought into infinity, into after your incarnation. Essentially, we're trying to say here that we're wanting to transform your physical experience into a metaphysical experience that will not only be a portion of your life in this incarnation, but beyond incarnation. You work with the concepts of the choice that you're making in this third density right now with all your future incarnations. The fact that you're in a place that you don't know what's going on and the choices you're making here, this is the only real place that you have that sort of free will to make those choices. And my understanding is that later on in incarnation, in sort of your metaphysical existence and like your later densities are all just a refining of this choice that you're making today in this third density. So the way I envision this, so stay with me here for a moment, okay? We have the bottom of the cross, right? So we have that vertical line going up and down. Now, what are we going to do to transform that line? We're going to turn it 90 degrees. So turn that vertical part of the line going up and down 90 degrees in your head. Whether you want to go left or right doesn't matter, because what you're going to be left with is the horizontal portion of that same cross. So what we've done now is we've transformed the bottom of the cross, turned it 90 degrees with spirit, from spirit and living matter coming together, and we've now created a cross-section where the physical has met the metaphysical, and I suppose, that's the heart of creation. That's where the truth lies. That's where transformation exists. That's where the sacrifice of the physical is sacrificed for maybe the metaphysical existence, right? It's not one is bigger than the other. There's sort of equals in a way, and you're not putting knowledge above spirit. You're not putting the finite above the infinite. You are transforming the finite into the infinite, and thus one is born of the other. Okay, and since we're on imagining, like giving you visions of things to picture in your head, here's another one. So the heart chakra I'm sorry, I don't know what to call it, but the heart chakra is, as they show it in, sort of what you would see like in symbology, is the heart chakra is these two triangles which have connected. So let me just back it up here again, okay? We have the bottom of the cross, which I would consider is the manifestation, this third density. That is the physical. You can envision that in your head as a downward pointing triangle, okay? And then we have the opposite of that, which is the infinite, and you can see that as an upward pointing triangle. So we have a triangle pointing up and a triangle pointing down, and just imagine them one above the other. And now what you can do in your mind is now marry those two things together, superimpose the one over top of the other. Well, what are you left with? You're left with those two intersecting triangles, which create that star, which is the star of the Anahata of the heart chakra. That is also, sorry, I forget what it's called, but the one from the Jewish symbol, right? That is the same symbol. In my opinion, that's like the symbology is everywhere out there for you to see. You just have to have the eyes to see it, and you'll start seeing it everywhere. This is sort of the esoteric teachings of it, which is like why, Ra says there's mathematical ratios, things of that nature, and for someone who's fond of riddles. Well, I myself am fond of riddles. In fact, I have more riddles, but they're honestly just even too hard to share over just speaking them to you. It's kind of difficult, and thank you for bearing with me here. I know we're maybe a little bit all over the place, but as I'm trying to describe things that are hard to find words for, I hope you just sort of give me some grace and that just take everything with a grain of salt. Try to listen to the basics of what I'm saying. I may get some things wrong, but I'm sure if you're just listening, you can kind of get the concept of what I'm saying here. All right, so once again, let's just point out the important part here, which is how do we do that, right? How do we transform the physical into the metaphysical, or as they say, the potentiate incarnation beyond incarnation? How do we inhibit spirit into the matter? Well, the hint is that it's the middle. It's the fourth chakra. It's the heart chakra. It's unconditional love. It's love for creation. Love is the center of which the universe turns upon. So as you love and you learn to love, and you may sacrifice certain physical things for metaphysical things, meaning, very simple, gross example would be, you're sacrificing physical money for, would rather, instead of just hoarding it for safety, staying in your lower chakras, right? You have money or something, and you can share it because you know that in service to others, that is the right thing to do with that energy. And you've transformed now the physical into something magical where you're serving. It's not like you're getting anything for it. You're not trading your money in and getting some kind of product back. You're just giving away that which is. You're sacrificing that which is for these metaphysical concepts, which are not something that you can hold. It's not something concrete. It's something infinite. You can't hold the infinite. It will just run through your hands. And so, I don't know, I suppose, I guess that's the main message of this whole story is just as you focus on the love, the infinity of love, self-worth, unconditional love, the unity of every being in creation being somewhat equal in terms of worth, then you can start to see the intersection of life. You can start to see how, although things may be terrible, you can see those terrible things as opportunities to serve, right? So all of a sudden now, this huge dark world that we have, that's just full of darkness and terror and bad things seemingly, can be seen in another light as an opportunity to serve. And I think that's sort of the idea of these teachings, is just to bring your mind to that sort of concept over and over and over again in an infinite amount of ways. Okay, so I've decided that I do want to lay down a little bit of numerology fun stuff for you if you're capable of understanding what I'm saying. So here is what I would like to to communicate to you. So let's think of the chakras and the numbers really quick, okay? I need you to have an open mind here for a moment. So we're going to separate these things in your head, right? So the bottom is the physical, the top is the metaphysical. So the bottom 3 chakras, which I would consider are the bottom of the cross, 1, 2, and 3. So how does numerology work? We're going to add those together. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 6. Okay? And now you have the heart in the middle, which is the 4th chakra. Let's skip that for now because that's sort of the balancing portion. That's the middle portion, right? Now we have up above the 4th chakra, we have 5, 6, and 7. So those are the top chakras. So let's add those together. So 5 plus 6 is 11, plus 7 is 18. And I don't know if you know numerology, but how you deduce these numbers is what they call it, is you would just bring it down to its simplest form. So you would basically take 18, which is a 1 and an 8, and you would add those together, that equals 9. Okay, so I'm just going to back up again. So 5 plus 6 equals 11, plus 7 equals 18. You take the 1 and the 8 equals 9. So what do you have there? You have then, on the bottom, you have 6, and then in the middle, you have 4, and then on the top, you have 9. So I want to bring a couple of things to your head. First of all is the 6 and the 9. Are those not mirror images of each other in a way? Is that not the yin and the yang, right? So you have the 6 of man. I believe, even elsewhere it's, the man the number of man is the number 6. Or they say even 666, right? But basically, you have the 6 below, and then you have the 9 up above. So you transform the 6 with your 4 into the 9, or maybe the 6 and the 9 come together, and in the middle with that 4. So also think of the 4. Look at the number 4. What does it look like? It looks like a cross. Whether you draw it the fancy way with the triangle and the vertical line, or you want to sort of do the box with the line, you still have this symbology of the cross, of the intersection of the vertical line and the horizontal line. Okay, and what is this? Well, I mean, this is alchemy. Have you ever heard of that term, alchemy, where you turn, what is it, metal into gold? Well, that's, as much as some people may think that's a physical thing or an exoteric teaching, it's really an esoteric teaching. And the idea is that, yeah, you are transforming the finite world into the infinite. And I think it's funny that those numbers equal 649. Have you ever heard of the lottery 649? Maybe they're doing a little game with that symbology. Maybe they're trying to trick you and be like, hey, we'll promise you heaven. We'll promise you your dreams, the 9. We'll promise you the 9 through the 6. But you know that's it's all lies. So anyways, I just wanted to share that part quickly with you guys. The 6 being sort of transformed into the 9, and just sharing that symbology with you, how the bottom is 6 and that's man, and the top is 9 and that's spirit. As above, so below. You may see the connection that I'm making here. Oh, and to connect that concept actually with one that I described earlier, remember how I described how you take the bottom of the cross, the vertical line, and you transform it by turning it 90 degrees? Well, what did I just say? You turn it 90 degrees. Through the 9, you transform the 6. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. I did have a lot more written down, but I feel like it's just a little too much to deliver to you, because we're just going to be talking over and over about sort of the same things in different ways. But I think that what I've done here today should give you enough to give you a rough idea. And yeah, so if this made sense to you, theoneinfinitecreator.com. I have links to all this material for free. I have links to my shop. You can support me, join my Patreon. I very much appreciate that, as I'm going through a time of transformation in my life. And I would really appreciate if you had the abundance to support me. Just honestly, it's as simple as that. It would allow me to, expand my services here, give more time and effort into doing sort of these sorts of things, which seemingly don't give back a lot of things that I can hold, but I feel that what I'm doing is sharing love freely with all of you, and if you just feel freely you want to reciprocate, great, and if not, it's all good. Love you regardless. So thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. I'm sorry I missed yesterday's podcast, but I can sometimes do 2 podcasts a week or 3. I'm thinking at this point I might have to take it down to 2 again, because I'm sort of running out of things to rant about constantly. They're getting maybe a little repetitive. But thank you guys so much for listening. I love you guys. Take care.